Alright, just as that kink starts. Lose the knife. And I'm using that to clear the floor. Catch you later. Hello, Scott from Wessex Blades. I'm going to trip out with two middle teenagers to give them a bit of an intro into outdoors. On the way there, I'll see this bit of clearing. It's been done by, I don't know, council workers or something along this cycle path. Well, that there is just right for a bow drill set. And it's obviously been seasoned. So my leverman will get the saw out, which is in here, and saw this section through. Push the key ring in, so I'll get back later once it's done. Right. Obviously with a saw this small, sometimes you might actually get the blade stuck. So if you go around bit by bit, then the weight of the branch is only going to open the cut. So what you don't want to do is close the cut because you'll stick the blade. So by holding this like this, the blade shouldn't get stuck in the cut. So that's over there. Nice clean cut. My lemon blast. Season for looks like burdock to let go of its seeds. You can see it all floating around. And I haven't seen this in years. Look how it's collecting on the ground. And all through that section of woodland there. I spent a couple of those seeds to take. That's gorgeous. Just have a look along the path that way, you should be able to see it in the sunlight. That's amazing. Right, going back to my sweet tin for my dry tinder. That there, to me, will be wicked fire starting material. That's really weird, my hand feels warm going in it. It's got no substance to it at all. Hand sort of just dresses right through it. There we go. So that should take a spark. That goes in my bag I found the other week. There we go. Just walking along and I seen a dead fall. Up in the tree. So I'm going to knock that out of there and hurl it out the bloody way before someone gets hurt. Just imagine someone cycling along, big breeze and just drops. Or if it lands on the floor, they go base over apex on their bicycle. Right, on the way along that zone, I've been shown this old pillbox, which is a sort of wartime defence. But built. So let's have a little look at it. Mind your head. Built for hobbits. So that's obviously supporting the roof all the way around. Tiles on the ground, and obviously where they'd be going for all their positions to shoot from. Now, one thing about going into abandoned buildings like this is from the outside give it a good look, see if it's safe to go in to begin with, and as you're actually inside, see what the damage is. And then there's another thing called asbestos. to go steady. This has already been checked out and cleared out by local kids. Goodness me. That's everything. Cool. Is there a bat anywhere? No, there's any bats. Basically, if you look for a bat and look on the ground, see if you see like mouse droppings. Which we iguana. That's wicked. Well, there we go again. Thanks for the look, guys. We've done a bit of climbing, got on top of an old slag heap which is around here because we're a mining area, and this, all here, the whole top of this big hill is covered in wild strawberries. Look at these flowers, the whole lot. I think we'll be coming back here in a few months. It's forever. Scott from Wessex Blades. We're in a nice birch copse in a region near my house. We could go through a poncho setup with a few teenagers. So this is the site that we've picked. If you have a look here, we've got a choice of little birch trees we can put a ridge line across to. Any sort of combination that we want. But looking up, I've got a few small deadfalls, dead branches up there and up there, which I'd rather get rid of. So, at the expense of one piece of green, I'm going to take down that limb, remove the deadfalls, and then use that limb again, the green one. Rather than use it once, I'm going to use it as a scraper to clean the floor up in the site, so we get the most use out of the one piece of green I'm going to cut down. So using my Boker Magnum, and the two, these things usually come down all right. About there, I think. There we go. Now, clean it up. A nice fork, we could use that later for cooking, I dare say. So I'll trim, and trim, and now should be able to knock down these dead branches. And there's one out of the way. Another. Right, let sure you'll have to go over to where I was just now, because that's where the thing's going to be going. No, I'm going to hit it that way, mate. That's it. There we go. So, there's nothing, looking up now, you should land on your head. Nothing that one there. Done. Right. So that not like that long. Alright, just as that kink starts. Lose the knife. And I'm using that to clear the floor. Catch you later. Right, welcome back. Now, introducing these lads to getting everything prepped, I'm going to lend them one of these ponchos and have the cord in the eyelets ready to go. So I've got a nice piece of nylon here, it's about 4 or 5 mil thick. I folded it in half, I'm going to cut it in half, and then with all these artificial cordage things, you need to burn the end. I go like that with the end, and I just stop it off against the metal bit there. Try like that, and then there we go. You just close the fibres off on that nylon thread. And what we do is one piece that side, one piece this side. And I go through the eyelet. Very simple knot. And cinch it up once more like that. So that will always stay in there, and it won't gather up and pucker up the corner. And then guessing that it's like going to be in the middle, it should be about there. I'll do a quick loop on this. Might actually get 2 loops around. So I've gone over the cord as it came around this way, and to pull it on itself back the other way, which would be that way. Around, and then very simple. You want to come in, Mitchell, come right in. So, back again. Show that again. I've picked a nice lumpy bit of bark so it won't slip down. It's gone like that. Over. Back the other way. Around. And for now, I'm just going to put a very simple loop back through it. So if I've got to adjust it for now, I can slip it up and down again in a minute. Back over the other side. Adjust it all in a minute. Again, same again. That goes over. One extra. Nice granny knot on there, so that doesn't pinch up the corner. And as you can see, I can adjust it. So I'll do half the distance, so that looks about 2 foot, so I'll put this to about there. I go to there, same again. The loop around, catch it back the other way, and pull it. And all I'm going to do then is a simple loop. It goes like that. And on itself like that. I'll do that in a minute. Now I can adjust it this side. Right. Pull in. About the same amount of slack both sides. This now can pull up tight. And now I'll just do that. I'll be crossing knots and all the rest of it to go through and all the rest of it. There. Right, we've got 5 for now, but then we can adjust it later. Okay, right, so which we're going to have a go. Ready? Tension on there, so to there. So if you've got the tension on that, you're not pulling it round the tree so much. You actually pull it there, and now you can hold it. It goes over the first one, and then pulls it against itself. Yeah? That string wants to go that way, doesn't it? Yeah. So you pull it. Over, it's around it, pull it the wrong way. Now that's held to the tension. Yeah. You've gone around and round the wrong way. Then back around, back that way. Okay. And in that triangle, loop it over. You should get a little loopy-doo. See that little loop? Yeah. Come up in there. Then that's done. And when you're finished, it all comes off. Alright? Yeah. Because that white string won't quite as good as this green. So, you have a go. the camera. So you've got to pull that with that hand because you want a bit of tension on it. Here comes the string. Drop it over this side. And you'll pull it round there to you. Over the top. Over the top. Pull it round again. And pull it. Like that. Almost. Right, let's have another go. So that goes like that. Around. Like that. There's your little triangle. And it goes in there. You can let go of that now. Because the tension was on the straps while you had one hand left, didn't you? Right. Okay. So right from the beginning. So I'm not the best person in the world with knots. So if you come around this side, you want to make that easier, or go around like that. Alright? Yeah, that's easy. Alright? However you want to do it, I'll keep the tension from that. He's already round once. That's your pull. So there's the tension, there's the pull. Yes. Around. Yeah. You've let the tension off. There's the thing. Up. And your loop comes up through that triangle. Almost. You're trying to knot in it. Almost. There's your tension. Yep. There's your triangle. Yeah. Right. And that, on the same side as where it's come from, yeah, you've gone over, your loop comes through and back through where you've just been. You didn't come back through where you've just been, and then you go like that, and there's your loop. Yeah. You go back, then you pull it and it's done. Right, keep practicing. Well, mate. Right, one day. The position of the poncho means you've got to make a tent peg, so it's a good exercise in being able to use live wood and a large knife to see how it's going to make a tent peg. And I'm going to be using something about that big time it's in the ground, so it's big enough to see without tripping over. So I'm going to take the cut about there. Now I always like cutting high, excuse me, because when I miss, I've got all that to miss. Rather than do that, if I miss, I'm closer to my leg. So, taking the cut about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's my sort of tent peg. Now the end needs to take a bit of a battering, so I'm looking for a tree stump or something to chop it off on, for that dead bit there. Cool, that blade's good. So now I've got a squarish end for the baton to hit. There we go. And we need a notch, so I'm going to choose where it's going to be, which is probably about there. I can play around and trim that a little bit if I wanted. Now the quick way I do a notch is I literally bury the knife in one good whack, let's say about there. That now produces a slot or cut or a nick to allow you to make a stop cut. Now a stop cut is where you're pushing the blade, and because you've already done that cut there, you can just go like that and keep going, under control, clear it, and you're taking the knockout where the string's going to go. So from that one hit, dump, I now can make the tent peg knot like that, and I can play around quite happily, cutting away from my hands, and even then my hand's the other side of the stick, and I'm making a nice controlled effort making a tent peg. So that's there. Now, I had a big stick the other minute ago, don't I? There he is. They got a name for that in Ireland, don't they? Shillelagh. So, put it all around here. Vaguely choose my spot. And what I'm looking at, in order to get the nice tension, when I do a poncho and Joe, we don't have it perfectly flat because it just collects water. What we want is a slight diamond. So whatever happens to the water, it'll tail off one way. You can always catch water happier. If you've got one corner, it'll want to run off to. Alright, so rather than have it dead flat, like that, I'd rather have one lower than another. And by pulling it different ways and setting it at different heights, you can encourage the poncho to have a slightly offset attitude to all the strings. It's like when you lay a patio in the back garden, you never put it down dead flat because the water will just sit on it. So when you do a poncho, for me, I always want to do it so it's, you know, slightly lower on one corner. So by going there, my tent peg needs to go here. So that big green stick I have, there it goes. I might be able to. Oh, he's in there. And then you can lay your guy line, the paracord, in order to get the attitude on the poncho you want it. So, quickly made tent peg, and using a bit of a green stick as a batten or a mallet in the ground. See you later.
I'm just seeing if the mic will work on.
Yo, Scott from Wessex Place in the house. That'll keep you off the ground. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to be using for a bit of a quick rice meal between the three of us is my Swiss Army Volcano stove, which runs off of twigs that go in the small aperture at the front. So I'm going to go through with the lads about standing deadwood, because this thing runs on really small dry twigs. We'll put that down there. This mixture of herbs is bedding, and we'll go through standing deadwood. Now, looking at this limb here, there's leaves on it. Leaves would say that it's alive. But this twig here, it's fallen from above, it's very small, snaps like anything. That's what we're after. Small things that are hanging in trees. So I'm looking at that off of there. It falls away. Down here, it's all dead. That is standing deadwood. Now across the floor, you got it all over the place, but this would be off the floor. So we understand is the floor will be wetter, generally speaking, than anything in a tree hanging around with the air blowing across it. So all these little bits here that are snagged up, there's one, okay, they're already dead enough to fall off the tree. And they're hanging in the thing, and like a washing line, it's been dried by the air. So we just keep going, keep seeing what we can find. Now we're looking at this thing. This is just too big for that stove, but that'll be all right. That's dead. Looking up here, that end there would be fine. Up here, that's dead. Now we're actually moving across to birch trees. Now in order to get the thing going, I'd like a bit of birch bark. What I'm looking for is an area where it's already coming off without damaging the tree too much. Ah, here we go. So, see where this bark's peeling off, mate? Yeah? If you peel that away, it's already on the die anyway, this section of bark. So you're not really doing the tree too much of a mischief, having all this stuff off. because in a few months it'll all peel away anyway. Birch bark, more standing deadwood. So you basically go around collecting off this natural superstore called a wood. Alright, so I've got birch bark and standing deadwood. More down here. All that stuff, all this birch bark, that burns really fast due to the oils in the bark there. Let's go get this fire going. Can you find that tin in my blue bag, please, Mitchell? In my blue bag, by your right foot. Just give me the bag. That's it, mate. Metallic water. Remember that from before? And you just basically keep feeding it, but it needs the little ones first. Now that's about as thick as it'll go. You've got to get a lot of coals in the bottom. Okay, so that's this stuff looking like it's burnt and glowing orange. Okay, so once we've got a neat, decent bed of coals on the bottom of that stove, he needs constant feeding. So once the lid gets put on, or the bottle goes in, or the cup goes in, you've got to feed it from that little aperture, otherwise you're constantly taking things in and out. So once you've got a decent bed in there, you can get the cup in. Now we're going to do our usual cheap rice mix. In it goes. Ooh, get some more in there quick, we'll be burning that in a minute. So constant work on this little thing. Dash of water. Right, let's get my glove on, because in a minute that handle will get so hot. And that's alright, because this one's leather. So leather glove. There's the mix, and you just carefully put it in, because it does want to tip over. So you sort of push it down in like that, and then he's settled. Now, I did find the most stable area around here, which is this sort of hollow. And you've got to keep these holes free. The wind's coming through, so I'm sort of catching the main area, but from now on, what you're doing is you're feeding the sticks in from the front. And every now and again, you've got to lift it out to let the air in. That's what I found, isn't it, Mitch? You put the cup in, and there's not quite enough air, so you've got to just keep gently working it. But you can't get on with much anyway because you've got to mind the fire. That's it. And then you're looking at twigs, sort of matchmaker size, just like that, because he's very unstable, isn't he?
Yeah. Tipped over once.
And
That wasn't very good.
I'm a metre away from that. So even if the flames get up to here, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And I've got the cotton wool out the way. Oh, Mitchell, nice job. Right, so there's our rice cooked, which is enough for two, but you need some extra stuff in there, I dare say. Sausage, bacon, other meat products. But what I was saying to the lads was, if they plan their meal as to how much daylight they've got left. So if we're looking through the trees over there, you see the sun is just peeking through the trees. The little tip is this: with your hand, you look into the sun as to where the horizon is. Okay? Alright? Your hand at arm's length, from the horizon to the sun, every hand is about an hour in size. So I'm looking at that, and I haven't got a full hand in size, have I? So if you put your 4 fingers out at 90 degrees like that, how many fingers have you got from the horizon to the bottom of the sun?
3.
3. Well, each one of your fingers is a quarter of an hour. So in 45 minutes, the sun's over the horizon. So, this sort of time in the evening is about as late as you want to start planning doing complicated stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you get the dinner on with plenty of time. So there it is. Decent meal. But the only snag is this thing needs constant attention, yeah? We were putting it in and out and feeding twigs, but it's done the job, and that burns away to practically nothing. All that went in, and look how much is in there now. Watch the lens, right? Crack. It burns to dust in there. It's such a complete burn. There's no ash, and it just goes to dust. So there we go, a nice meal. Lads have set up the poncho as just as a demonstration. With 2 of them, we'll have 2 the other way round, and we'll popple them together, and I'll show you how to tie the hood up as well, because the water will run down and off through the hood. But yeah, so there they are, their sleeping mat. It's a bit slack, but I'm going to tighten it up. Come back again another time, see how we get on. So Scott from Wessex Place with 2 lads. See you on the next vid. Cheerio.